Hello and welcome back to the Fat Dad Fishing Show. I'm your host, Rich Natoli, and we had last week off. We had a guest that was trying to get on and just could not. The charter business kind of caught up with him that day, so he's going to be back on later. I'll announce the name later, but a bit later in the year he's going to come back on, and we're going to get there. But tonight we have Nick Honachefsky, Saltwater Underground, your local Mid-Atlantic national personality, I guess. The guy that represents us on TV with fishing shows, and New Jersey, New York, all the areas in the Mid-Atlantic. He's going to be on. We're going to talk a little bit about, well, striped bass regs. We're going to talk about the Barrier Island Beach Brawl tournament. I don't know if it's actually a tournament, but event, the big event for New Jersey fishing, surf fishing. And we're going to talk a little bit about Saltwater Underground. Before we get into that, going to roll into the sponsors real quick. We have our first sponsor is Great Bay Outfitters, my home shop. And look, talking to Paul today, and if you're a kayak fisherman, temperatures are dropping. So this is the time of year where you're going to see it. It's going to happen no matter what I say here, no matter what people like Paul and anyone else does. Somebody's going to be on the water and they're going to be unprepared. The water temperatures are dropping and they're going to get stuck in the water without a dry suit on. Well, Paul has them. He has them in stock. He has the level 6. Make sure you go out and get them if you're a kayak fisherman. I have been in the water in a capsized kayak in March in Raritan Bay, and it is not fun even with a dry suit. If I hadn't had that dry suit on, I'd probably be dead right now. So, and that's not an exaggeration. So, look, if you're a kayak fisherman, go out and get one. And I'll tell you what, if you just want to stay dry, he's got the tops, he's got the bottoms, he's got the full suits. Check it out at Great Bay Outfitters. Now's the time of year to do it. On top of that, we have Quad State Tune, Kevin Driscoll. Anyone looking for a tune for the engine for your Toyota trucks, the Tacoma, and so on and so forth. It'll take care of the gear hunting, get more efficient mileage out of it, more horsepower, more torque. So give Kevin a call for that. And then for real estate, Southeastern Pennsylvania, that's me. I am a realtor with Weichert Cornerstone Realtors out of Bluebell and Collegeville. If you have anything, let me know. Things are really picking up in that business. And I want to thank all of you because I have had business coming through this podcast, including a sale down in New Jersey, property under contract in New Jersey. So if anything I can do, reach out. Numbers in the beginning of this, it's 267-270-1145. And with that said, we're going to jump right into this. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. Good to see you. We'll try to work your questions in. But with that said, I'm going to bring Nick Honachefsky back in. Nick, it's good to see you, man.
What's up, Richie? How you been, brother? All right?
I've been good. I gotta say, it was funny. My wife was talking to me before this, and she's like, "What are you doing?" Because I'm usually still working at this time. She's like, "What are you watching on TV?" She's like, "Oh, you're watching fishing." I was like, "I'm watching my guest." She's like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "Yeah. Here's my guest." We were watching the Blizzard Tog.
Yeah.
I've seen that a couple of times. Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times, but I just love it because it just kind of encapsulates what we're heading into now. I mean, it's still a little early for the Blizzard Tog, but the cooler weather fishing and all of that. And before that, I watched the other one from last season. The one I watched it actually last week, maybe the week before. I watched the one on the striped bass. So, we got to talk striped bass. But how have you been doing?
Good, man. Real good. I'm glad you watched the Blackfish Blizzard episode.
Yeah.
That kind of encapsulates like what Saltwater Underground's all about, just to like hit the nail on the head with what the show kind of entails is that, it's kind of like underground roots, man. It's like we're out there in 3 to 4, 5 inches of snow on deck, like the hardcore stuff, not like that, the easy sunny fishing down in Florida or something, like we go out and we pound it, and a lot of people don't realize how hardcore we all are up here in the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic and all that. But it was a fun episode to film, and we try and target those fisheries on camera that nobody usually gets a chance to see. And funny enough, I saw your opening promo there, and you got the sheep's head on the kayak.
Yeah.
That's awesome, number one. But number two, our first episode, we're filming season 6 now, which is going to start airing January 1st again on Discovery Channel and all the other outlets. But we filmed a sheep's head episode with Danny Schaefer of the Insomniac, who's like the sheep's head guru. He really has been fishing for him for 25 years in Jersey. People never even knew they were still here. But that just got me amped up watching you catch that on your opening reels.
It's funny where I was catching those. Dan is always there. So I mean, Dan is truly the godfather, the guy who put it back. He put it back on the map because it was off the map since like the 70s.
Right.
The sheep's head, and he's really. It all comes back to him. He's the one who got it going. I mean, he's the bottom sweeper jigs and all of that stuff. Right. He's the one who made it attainable. And I've told this story before, but I'll tell you, it's funny. I went down to fish the Outer Banks. I went down for, I think a week or 2 weeks. Right. And I was like, well, I got to go fishing. And I went into the shop and they said, what are you going to do? I was like, I'm going to go for some sheep's head. And they're like, no, you have to come here. You have to see this. I was like, oh, they're like, we got this thing. You'll never believe it. You won't believe it works. And they showed him like, yeah, it's a bottom sweeper. They're like, exactly. You've heard of this? And I was like, I fish New Jersey, and like, oh, you've heard of it. I was like, yeah. They were all excited about it. So that's all Dan.
Yeah. That's right, Danny. It was a great episode, man. And I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag how we did, but we did well. And wait till you see some of the fish that we caught, man. I mean, I rarely ever get a chance where we have all our footage in 2.5 hours for like basically the whole episode, at least for 3 segments worth. And it was just phenomenal. And wait till you see some of the cool catches that we had there and some of the size of the fish and a little different way to do it than I've done it with them before. So it's kind of cool, All
right. I'm looking forward to that one. You know what? And I love when they're released at the beginning of the year, because that's where you kind of go into the doldrums, right? Like the only saltwater fishing I'm doing at that time is for white perch. Because I don't, unless I'm going offshore and for tog into January, but that all depends on how long those boats are running.
Surely. Yep.
So it gets me through.
And then there's blizzards you got to deal with too.
I love that. I went fishing, it was maybe 3 years ago, and it was down behind Stone Harbor, and I was in Hereford Inlet in the kayak, and it's just me, and there's not any wind. All of a sudden it just starts snowing. It's like a squall, but it's coming. It's coming down. And I go under the bridge, and some guy walks out onto the bridge. And he's like, you okay? I was like, yeah. He's like, it's snowing. I was like, yeah, man. I'm like, this is perfect weather.
It's magical, man, when that happens,
I only got some tog that day, but that's really all I was fishing for, because it was in January. But
but just being out there when you're graced with having a blizzard come through and having like a whiteout, man, that's just it adds to the experience more than the fish do, in my opinion. It's just amazing being out there on the water when the weather is a little bit challenging or different,
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right. Well, we have limited time, so I want to make sure that we jump in through some of these topics because look, we got some big topics to talk about. And the first one, we're going to actually have Jim Hutchinson Jr. is coming back on hopefully next week, but sometime shortly. And we're going to be talking striped bass and some other, fisheries news. But I've seen some of your opinion, but I wanted to, have you kind of share directly with people. What's your thought on this entire, it's possible that we're staring at a closure of striped bass.
Yeah. I'll try and put it all together here in one nice, concise form. But I was at the meeting down there in Manahawkin, along with about another 100 anglers there. We were hoping for a bigger show, but we got what we got. So if anyone is not aware of what's on the table, there might not only be like actual closures of the fishery of no harvesting, but there might actually be no targeting, which means you can't even fish for striped bass. And I know it. I hear from people, oh yeah, well, I'm fishing for blues, quote, I'm fishing for skates, quote, but I'll tell you what, man, it's like, if you're there in early December on the surf and there's 500 people at Island Beach State Park, the game wardens know there's no bluefish around. There's nothing
Yep.
else. So they will write tickets, and that's their job. They're putting in an untenable situation. But let me rewind before any of that could possibly even happen. We don't know what the regs are going to be yet. We're hoping for status quo, which is one fish between 28 and 31 inches. But my thoughts are absolutely, I'm vehemently opposed to any no targeting law. Because if you take away the option to fish, that's not constitutional in my opinion.
Right.
I get it. I get it. They're trying to protect the species. But the one data point that I did not like that they said, because I don't believe it, is that they said catch and release mortality was 9%. And I raised my hand. I asked them a question. I said, what are the mechanisms that you determine that 9%? And the answer I got, they said, well, we do tag and release, and we have some acoustic tags, but they didn't really have the right answer. They didn't know the actual answer.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, how is that multiplied? How many acoustic tags have you gone out there and gotten back that they're dead? Number one, right? So even if they put 10 tags out, right, and they got one back, which would on a dead fish, that means you would have to multiply that times millions to get like an actual subset data sample to make that 9% a reality. So anyway, the no targeting is absolutely off the table, in my opinion. Regarding no harvest, if they're going to do something with a no harvest with the waves, everyone's going to have to suffer up and down the coast, right? Because they're doing it where everyone has certain waves, like wave 2 and wave 5. And each wave is 2 months. So wave 1 is January, February. Wave 2 is March, April, and so on, right? So if, say, they did a wave 2 and a wave 5 closure, that means we would be closed for September and October and March and April, which would suck, right?
Yeah.
For no harvesting and no targeting, right? But in my opinion, if they were going to close the fishery for no harvesting, I mean, I've always espoused this belief is do it when they're breeding. You know what I mean? There's no sense in targeting 50-pound fish that are egg laden, in March and April, whether it's the Chesapeake, the Delaware River, the Hudson, Raritan Bay. If they're going to close, if we have to close the fishery, I would do it during the spring spawn for the most part. Because the fall run, they're just fattening up. They're not spawning anymore. That just makes the most common sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. I'm falling on the side that you are. First of all, I don't trust anything that they say as far as the numbers.
Absolutely. And they're the first to admit it too. They say our data it's not concrete. We're just trying, I
mean, I spent years doing statistical analysis for a very large company. And here's the truth. If you're working in statistics, you can make it say whatever you want it to say.
Sure.
Especially at the level that they're sharing data. We're not talking correlation. We're not talking causation. We're talking correlation.
Right. Yep.
And unless they're doing, some significant regression testing on large samples, I just don't get it. And some of the things I've heard about how they get even harvest numbers is absolutely insanity. Yeah. There was a captain in Maryland who was blowing up about this last year, or maybe it's the year before. And he was saying what they did is they said, we have 50 boats in this marina. And that means that they're catching these are not the real numbers, but they assumed that everybody was catching and keeping one fish per day for the entire season.
Right.
And that's what they used. He's like, no way is that possible. He's like, half of these are recreational cabin cruisers. They're not even fishing, but they just assume that they are. And I get it. I do believe they're doing the best they can, but
I don't know about that, but I mean, I really don't. I mean, I don't think they're doing the best they can. There's ways to gather data. I mean, they ask captains to keep detailed logbooks of how many fish they catch, when they catch them, what they release, and yet they never ask for the information from the captains. They're required. I forget what the technical term is, but they're required to, keep the logbooks of the fish they catch, and they never ask for the data.
I thought they did.
They do, but they don't use it. I mean, the lady that was answering questions says, "Yeah, we're working on correlating and getting all that data and having a system where we can actually get that data involved." It's like, then why are you asking for it if you instituted a plan that doesn't have an actual outcome? Why would you even ask us to do it? And conversely, we're at the meeting, and I think one of the captains was like, what's the data on the circle hook mortality? You instituted that law 3 years ago now for any kind of straight bait bass fishing with circle hooks. Can you tell us one way or another if it worked? And they openly admitted, they said, we have no data to say either way, you know?
Yeah. Well, I don't,
It,
they're not collecting it.
of course they're not, you know? So I don't know. I mean, we can go on and on. I mean, it's like beating our head against the wall all the time, but we have to beat our head against the wall to fight for what we need. And first of all, I have no problems whatsoever if the data is correct and it's salient data and it's truthful, at least to have enough of a subset of it to make some kind of actual truth out of it. I have no problem closing the season or doing what needs to be done to save the striped bass stocks, but they openly admit they don't really know if they're up or down. And here, oh my God, there was this one graph in their PowerPoint presentation. It was a bell chart, right?
Yeah.
And the levels that they had where they said this is the level we're trying to achieve, right? To declare the stocks rebuilt. This is kind of like a half level, and this is like another level that we're working towards. The level that they want the stocks rebuilt at, that timeline went from 1930s to present day, and not once did it hit that top of that bell curve. So the entire recreational striped bass fishery since the 30s, in their opinion, has never hit that rebuild biomass. I mean, it's like they set their goalpost so far away that it's way beyond reality. You know what I mean? They have to change the parameters, So anyway.
You know what? It seems like every time that something like this comes up, it just turns into a cluster.
Yeah.
It's
and believe me, I release 99.9% of all stripers I catch. I've always have, if one gets gut hooked and it's legal, of course I'm taking it home,
Right.
But I'm catch and release since birth, you know what I mean? I rarely ever keep any fish for that matter, but it doesn't mean that people that have the right to take a fish home, that their rights should be encroached, to be able to harvest a fish if they want. But I'm a big believer, obviously, in catch and release and the conservation of the stocks, but it has to be based on legit data. You can't just grab the shit out of the air,
Yeah. Well, let's see if they actually start collecting legit data, and it would, would fix it. Collect the data and then let a private firm do the analysis.
Right.
That these people have agendas,
Yeah. There has to be, and I hate being a conspiracist, but there has to be, there's always some back dealing when you're talking about this kind of money in politics, one way, shape, or form, but you can't let it get out of control. It's, all the commercial guys are buying everybody off, every politician or something. I'm sure there's some recreational guys that might be doing it. Who knows the truth? Yeah. But the point of the matter is you gotta have a clean head on your shoulder, basically, to look at it and observe what's going on and what needs to be changed,
Yeah. I personally would like them to actually research where the fish are going,
right?
Because we know they're in the canyons and we know they're not looking at them out there.
Yeah,
I mean, it could turn out that we are at the peak, but they're 150 miles offshore.
Right. You ever hear, you hear the sea bass guys in the middle of the winter, December, jigging 30-pound bass up 60, 70 miles off, They always follow that 20 fathom line all the way from Long Island down a lot too, just blown up on bait when the tuna are there,
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's difficult when you don't have correct scientific data.
Well, let's see if they do it. I just have such low confidence that they will, but and the other thing that doesn't help is every state does it differently. I mean, Maryland has the craziest opens and closures, but at least some of theirs, hey, they're spawning, so it's closed, in certain areas. So at least I get it. But I don't know. A lot of it just seems way too random to me. There needs to be some consistency between rec and commercial.
Yeah.
And there needs to be some real consideration for the data, as you said, because
first of all, get them off the commercial menu. I mean, I don't know. I don't believe striped bass should be a commercially fished species. I'm big in the advocate of, game fish species, but bass are good to eat. I get it, but go catch them yourself. Don't order them at a restaurant.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I don't put them in my top 10 fish.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Eating,
No, no. I mean, they're good, but they're not good enough for me to keep more than a
Yeah,
quarter of one a year, and that's only if it's gut hooked. And honestly, Nick, I haven't gut hooked a striped bass in probably 7 or 8 years.
right now.
So,
Yeah, likewise. Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I did have one that I could not revive that was luckily within the slot years ago. That's probably
yeah.
4 or 5 years ago, but that's it. I don't know. It's just too much work to clean for something that doesn't taste, it. Yeah, you see Paul,
Fun
put
to
that up
fish
there.
for, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, striped carp. Yeah.
There it goes. Yep.
Well, Paul's a sheep's head guy, so he doesn't keep them though. But that at least has a little bit more taste, and the tog definitely have a taste. But that's a topic for another day because
Yeah,
I'm
and
concerned about them.
let me real super quick 20-second chime in.
Yeah,
I'm all for instituting regulations on sheep's head right now because we're already starting to see that they're starting to get fished out and the sizes are a lot smaller than we first had them. I mean, it's good to see smaller fish around because there is starting to become a breeding population again, the conch traps and all that throughout the winter time, but that are being pulled up. But we need limits for them because now it's like surf sharking. Not when that blew up, like the shit hit the fan, right? So
yeah,
it's like the same thing with sheep's head. Everyone's doing it now. Everyone's catching them, kind of thing. There needs to be regulations for them right now, in my opinion. Because it's totally Wild West right now, and people are, that aren't in the know. That are just going out there. They're just keeping them and taking them home, and they're taking them out of the ecosystem when it's starting to try and replenish itself to its historical levels back in like the late 1800s, early 1900s.
yeah. I would like to see the data before doing anything. However, my gut tells me it's time, and I can just tell you. Look, I know for a fact that there's at least 3 guys. We may not be watching at the moment, but that will listen to this and then text me after I say this, that keep every sheep's head they catch. Every single one, even the 10, 12 pounders, they keep
In
them all.
Jersey,
Yeah. And they don't
yeah.
need to, but they do. And they give them away. And I'm like, I get it. You give them away,
Keep the
but
tog, man. They taste the same,
yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
So I don't know. I'd like to see the data first. I will say that. And I know that they are collecting data. They started last year in
I don't know. All I
2024,
know
I
is
believe.
that there's more sheep's head around than redfish and cobia for the most part, and we
Yeah.
have laws in Jersey regarding cobia and redfish. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yep, yep. I agree. I agree. Here's a weird law. They put speckled trout under the same thing as weakfish.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
They're
just,
different species,
I
but
know they're just, it looks like it. Use the same law.
but I always thought that was funny because they don't look like it. It's so easy to tell the difference, but
If
yeah,
you know, I mean, you really got to know. I mean, not really got to know, but and then they get like the sand trout that kind of look like weakfish too, and silver perch. Sometimes
I
people,
can see that. I can see that. Yes, I can see
yeah.
that crossover. It's it's just funny to me how they can be so
But,
on
you're,
something and off on others.
you're talking as I assume like a Southern Jersey type guy. Like a lot of speckled trout don't move north of Barnegat Inlet. I mean, they'll
Right.
trickle up, but down south in the November, October, whatever, you'll get specks down there. But I bet you if you got a speckled some guy calling in Sandy Hook, they'd be like, "Man, look at this weak fish with all these spots."
Okay, you know what? I'll give you that. Yes, I'll give you that. And even look, it's still rare to catch them down here.
Yeah,
I think part of it is because people gave up fishing for weak fish, and you're going to catch them in
right.
similar ways and places.
Certainly, yeah,
Not the same, but similar. So
yeah.
I think the targeting has gone down definitely. Hey, look, we do need to talk about your big event, your annual event, because this is one of the coolest events that you're going to find, I would say, in the Mid-Atlantic. The Barrier Island Beach Brawl. You gotta let people know about it, what it is, how they can get involved, and why it's such a cool event.
Cool. Well, thanks for the plug, first of all, Rich. So this is the 7th annual Barrier Island Beach Brawl. I started this tournament, like I said, 7 years ago. This year, it's on October 10th and 11th. It's always on Columbus Day weekend because everyone usually has 4 days off for that weekend. So I only make it a 2-day part of the tournament. So you have the other 2 days for your vacation, whatever you want to do. But anyway, I started the tournament because honest to God, I get so tired of like social media and like how everyone yells at each other and everyone, bitches and moans and has something snarky to say or this and that and making fun of people. I was like, I want a tournament like the old tournaments, like when I was a kid growing up, it was about like getting together with your dad or your mom or your friends or uncle, whoever, going out and fishing and then being excited for everyone, be amped, be like, oh man, that guy got a striper. Oh, he caught a foul salvia on the Barnegat Jetty, and like, of course there was competition back then and people, talk behind each other's backs being like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing kind of thing or whatever. But it wasn't so vitriolic as it is like nowadays. So I wanted to create a tradition again, which is why I built the tournament out, to bring family together and to have people, mark it on their calendar every year to come back and join with friends and take their kids out. I've seen kids grow up from 3 years old to like 10 years old now. And they come back every year and they're more stoked every year, to fish with their mom or their dad. And, I have friends that come around from across the country, old college buddies who I haven't talked to in 20 years, and they all get together, just to fish this tournament and get, it's a commitment where they can all, rekindle relationships. But, the point of the matter is that it's not, we do give away cash, and we actually have $35,000 worth of free gear that we give away because all my connects in the fishing industry, everyone donates heavy to it. They're all monster prizes, from every manufacturer that you can possibly imagine, including all the Barrier Island tackle shops. It's called the Barrier Island Beach Roll because it's from Manasquan Inlet to Barnegat Inlet. That's my island there, the Barrier Island there. But the point is that we give away, a ton of prizes. There's cash prizes, obviously, too, for all the species. It's not a striped bass, like strictly tournament. In fact, there's 15 eligible species broken down into like, bluefish, weakfish, triggerfish, blackfish, little tunny bonito. In striped bass category is catch, photo, release. You don't even have to measure it. You don't have to weigh it because I don't want to keep that fish out of the water. People are going to catch bass in October. So I figured we might as well make a category for it. All you got to do is snap a photo. I don't want anyone, measuring or anything. So we get that fish back in the water. And, I just draw randomly, whether it's a 12-inch bass or a 50-inch bass. Everyone's got an equal chance of winning the top 3 bass categories. That's, so I don't make it like, you have to catch the biggest one type of deal. But, it's 7 years going strong right now. And, if anyone wants to sign up for it, you got to hit me up on Instagram at Nick Honachefsky, and you can go to the saltwaterunderground.com store link, the Barrier Island Beach Roll, and click that. And, we're closing registration in 9 days. So if anyone hears this, do it now.
Yeah. What really appeals to me about it is it's not like a hardcore tournament where people are going to be stressed the whole time.
Right. That's not the point,
Yeah. You see so many people, and I kind of get that way sometimes when I do a tournament. Like if I really want to try to do well, I've kind of turned the corner on that. Now I just go out and have fun, and try to get together with people to do it. But I love the fact that just anyone can end up walking away with a prize and feel like they participated,
And that's, if I can say that too, of course there's prizes for the species, but I get so much gear that I give it away, right? So I pick your name out of a hat. So like, hundreds of people are winning free stuff for not even catching a fish,
Right.
And that's the way I want it. I want you to go out and have fun with the chance of catching something. And then you're going to walk away with something because anyone who signs up gets an awesome SPF shirt, which is cool. Barrett, you guys are going to be the first to see it if you do on YouTube. This is the first shirt. I just got them yesterday from Sport Fishing Apparel. But
oh, nice.
You always get like the shirt. It's an SPF shirt this year. You get a bag of fish bites. You get some stuff from Costa. So the entry fee itself, you're already getting all the stuff back at you. And then you got a chance of winning $35,000 worth of stuff. Oh, if I may say one more thing too. One of the most important facets of the tournament is that anybody who doesn't want to keep their fish, we keep them, and I fillet them personally, and we donate all the fish to St. Gregory's Food Pantry in Point Pleasant to feed the homeless and hungry. And every year that I go there with coolers full of fillets, they're stoked, and the people that run the pantry, I think they're nuns. They say every year they get people saying, when's the fish coming? When's the fish coming? So that makes me happy that, people really look forward to eating the fish that we donate there. And then we also have a 50-50 and raise money for St. Jude's at the awards party at Heavy Reel Brewing in the afternoon on the Saturday, the 11th. So
yeah. See, Nick, this is the kind of event I love. Right. It's not all for the glory and the the big picture of the fish on the hook. It's people out fishing together, and there's no reason to hate the guy that just reeled in a fish next to you.
right. You don't have to
You're
worry.
entered anyway. You're all entered anyway.
Yeah, you got the same chance winning the St. Croix Rift or the Yeti, cooler. Same chance for the most part.
Yeah, and it gives the people to show up to the awards thing too, because I didn't catch any, I didn't weigh anything. Like half the tournaments, it's only a quarter of the people because a quarter didn't catch anything.
Right.
Another quarter know that they're not in the running, and then the last quarter they want a beer, or they have a shot.
Yeah, you get to drink a few beers at Heavy Reel, and we brew our saltwater underground lager for that event too, which is cool.
Yeah,
and then not only that, we that's where all the prizes get given away. So you should be there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, hopefully we get a bunch of people in on that and doing it. Look, if you're just going to do one event this year, why not? It's events like this. And I love the fact that you donate the fish that people don't want to keep, and you personally clean most or many of them.
Oh yeah, all of them.
I remember those pics.
Most of the time, yeah. I had my buddy help me one time. One time we had, the bluefish came through big time, so there was tons of like 1.5 to 3 pound bluefish.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, here, have them. So I was like, of course, I'll take them. And it took me like 5 hours to fillet them into crab's claw in the back.
Yep.
And just the fresh white meat fillets. They don't have bloodlines in them when they're that small. And it was a lot of fish to fillet, but I enjoy doing it. I know I'm doing it for to make people happy and have their guts full. So
yeah, that's great. I love that. And it was you donated almost 100 pounds. We're not
last year was 100 pounds of fillets that people donated me, and we filleted. We had over 200 fish donated last year. And I filleted them all in the back,
That's
great. And like, I guess, overall it's mainly like small blues, but then we have like every year, like 20 some blackfish that are donated. Sometimes bonito are caught, triggerfish, kingfish, stuff like that. We won't fillet little tunny up because they're just not good eating,
Right. Right.
But every other fish that's on that list is edible and very good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't know if I can make it down. I would love to though. I may just buy the entry, whether I
just stop in, man.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think I could find some time to get down there over those few days and walk the beach and just hang out and everything. And it's definitely my plan. My brother's in the chat. He wants to go down. He wants one of your beers, actually.
Yeah. We're gonna be brewing them there. It's a nice light lager.
Yeah. He'll be into that. Definitely.
We'll be selling 6-packs of that too, so you can take one home with you.
All right. I'm sure he'll take more than one home with him.
There you go.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, if he's at work, he's in a brewery right now.
Oh, nice. How about it?
Yeah. So, God, I hope he's not at work. He'll end up getting fired. Watching a live stream while he's at work. Yeah. All right. So everyone, make sure you check that out. Go to Saltwater Underground website. It is there at the top right. I mean, you can go in and see all about it, and then you go into the shop and you can buy it. And the dates again, Nick?
This October 10th and 11th, a Friday and a Saturday.
Awesome.
Columbus Day weekend. Yeah.
Is the award on the Saturday, on the 11th?
So, you can start fishing at 5 a.m. on the Friday and fish all the way through till 3 p.m. on Saturday. And the award starts at 4 p.m. on Saturday. And we start giving away everything at 6 p.m. on that Saturday at Heavy Reel Brewing in Seaside Heights.
Okay. And it's all land-based fishing?
Yeah, strictly the surf. Yep.
Okay. All right. So if you don't want to compete for a species, you just want to enter it and fish it and hope for an extra prize, you could jump out on a kayak, right?
Nope.
No?
No dice, brother. I have to rule with a militant fist on this, man. Believe me.
All right, fair enough. You know what? It's a good excuse to not lug a kayak 100 and some miles down there for the day too. Cause that's always stressful too, because you do a tournament with a kayak and then all of a sudden you're sitting at the awards thing with your kayak unlocked in the back of a truck. with $1,000 worth of gear in it. So,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
I'll bring my surf stuff.
Let's bring
My
your surfer on and grab your beach permits, man. Get
yeah.
them.
All right. Well, I'll jump on somebody's truck that has a permit because I don't have any permits for this for this
There you
fall.
go. Park
That's the
and
way to do
walk,
it.
that's good.
All right. So before we go, I want you to jump back over to Saltwater Underground. So yeah, you have season 5 coming up, starting. So you had
Season
talked
6,
about
yeah.
one episode. What are some of the species that you think are going to be in? You haven't filmed all of it yet, have you?
Oh, we've only done one episode, and I got to get all this cut and edited by December 28th of this year. So we're in a mad dash right now. Because we're on just 4 networks: Discovery Channel, Sportsman's Channel, World Fishing Network, and Waypoint TV. All your
Yep.
streaming services. You can always find all past episodes on there now. But season 6 starts out December 28th. I think is the first episode that's going to run. But we did that Sheep's Head episode to start. We always like getting like a surf fishing one in.
Yep.
We actually did a pretty cool. We still have to finish it up, but surf fluking, which was a cool episode.
That's
Catching,
I want to see that one.
yeah, we went with Shelly Karras too. So if anyone knows Shelly, is a local legend down here on the island.
Yep.
But yeah, so we got some surprises lined up. I actually have a couple travel related shows too, going to the Florida Keys, so that'll be pretty fun to go fish down there. Bringing a Jersey style down there and seeing how we can pound them out in the Keys. Well,
But, then when you're down there, you can make fun of them because they think 70 degrees is cold.
I know. I won't be. Don't worry. I won't be wearing any bright turquoise or orange shirts, man. Yeah. I'm always saltwater underground gear, and I'm from the Northeast, man.
Yep. Yeah. I have a problem with those colors. It's just not me. I wear black in the summer. Sometimes I'll wear, if I need a long sleeve, because I only have one black SPF shirt that's long sleeve. So then I'll wear some of the lighter color ones, but I'm just not that dude.
I'm never that guy either. My show's not really based around that kind of look either, But every now and then you might see me with one on. I'm not saying it never happens, but it's just not my ethos, really,
Yeah, well, especially not for the show.
Yeah. We got like bunker chum on us, squid hanging out of our pockets,
Yeah,
it's real fishing, man. It's like legit real fishing,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see you and Dan in that first episode. I'll recognize the spots.
I'm sure, yeah. We tried keeping them as blurred as we could,
But, to that point, let me just say this. And this is where a lot of the drama in fishing comes from. You showed a spot. You showed my spot. You showed my spot. Okay. I'm just going to say this. You can agree or not agree. We do our best to not show specific spots. However, if it's a bridge, it's a sheep's head spot. Right. Done. You can argue and whine and bitch and complain all you want, but it's a sheep's head spot.
Yeah.
If it's a jetty, guess what? It's a tog spot.
Yeah.
There's not much I can do about that. And if you happen to catch that one little flagpole that's 3 miles distant that you can just see, and now you know where it is, we do our best.
Yeah. I think it's more or less the timing of when with social media more. I mean, TV is when we're filming this, it's 6 months before it even airs, so it doesn't even matter. But like when it comes to social media, that's where it gets to be an issue, because if you're posting something, with a discernible landmark in the back, then everyone, that are mainly new anglers who are just getting into it, that just don't really know the ethos of respect, will just be like, oh, where is it? I'm going to go fish. That's where the fish are, without doing any work or anything. And I'm not going to lie to you. There's been times where I've posted really quick on like Instagram and I get lit up and I'm like, shit, man. I'm like, oh, I left that thing in there. It's like, and then it's too late to take down. And it's like, oh, spot burn. I'm like, man, whatever.
I've gotten lit up a lot. I actually very rarely do any videos anymore. That's just one of the reasons.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I am super, super careful about is land-based spots. To me, that's the biggest deal, because if you're a land-based fisherman, you do not have a fraction of the options of people in a kayak or on a boat. In a boat, it's like, okay, I can see a little bit more of understanding, but people still, and by the way, I'll go back and say this. I know a lot of very, very experienced fishermen that will jump on a spot just because they saw somebody post it. And then they'll think that they're dialed in on the species because they caught one there. It's like, dude, you saw Nick catch there yesterday. I mean, you didn't do really anything to find it yourself. You just recognized through the blur of that water tower.
Yeah.
So,
it's weird though too, because it's like, if say I posted like a picture from last October or something, right? Where I'm standing, next to Jenkinson's, right, in Point Pleasant. And if I post that, right, even though it's like a year ago, people will be like, oh, you're blowing up. It's like those fish are going to be, after 4 days, they're not at that spot anymore. And they're somewhere I'm talking about striped bass here, in the surf fishing or whatever. Yeah. But I still get the idea why people would get, angry with it. But it's so hard to be able to like communicate that. Like if this photo was up there 8 months ago, is when I caught this thing or something, It's like you can't even get away with retro posting anything anymore. And I kind of get that. But when people don't know the whole story, everyone's first to comment on it, and then it gets viral, being like, oh, you're blowing up spots. It's like, I'm blowing up a spot where I caught a fish 2 years ago, if that's the case. But I mean, I do get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a believer of spot burn. I hate when I see it, and I hate when I do it. And I do it usually inadvertently if it happens. There'll be something in the photo that I forgot to blur out or something, but believe me, you'll get called on it, And
I got called on it for talking about the 8th Street Jetty in Avalon. I was like, can you even blow that up at this point? I mean, it's literally everybody knows about it in South Jersey. And it was for Cocktail Blues, Nick. Cocktail Blues was what the video was about.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, they're just swimming through. They weren't even there 5 minutes later.
I get both sides of it. I really do, because I get angry when, people blow up a thing and it's like, all right, no one did the work to go find this, and the word got out in one day because someone saw it in the background, and now the spot's totally blown. Like any spot you fish nowadays, if you have it, generally speaking, and I'm talking surf fishing right now, you may have 3 days to yourself before it's blown. You know what I mean? My rule of thumb to tell you this is that you don't tell anybody about it, it's not going to get blown. You tell your best, closest friend and swear him to secrecy not to tell anyone, he's going to tell one person, right? And then it'll happen. If you tell a friend and say, oh, man, you're close, you're a friend, but you're not like my brother, you're not as close as I am, but I told you, he's going to tell 5 people. You know what I mean? So you can't even trust yourself. Don't even tell yourself where you're fishing, if you really want to keep it quiet.
Well, and that's why I don't do. That's one of the reasons I don't do videos anymore, because it's just too much drama. I'm like, I'm just trying to help people catch fish. It's not the spot that I'm talking about, but but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So, hey, Nick, thanks for coming on. We had agreed to keep this a little bit shorter tonight. Everybody, the Barrier Island Beach Brawl, make sure you go Saltwater Underground, check it out, sign up for it. It's a great event with he's already talked about the benefits to the community too. So not only is it fun, but you're going to help some folks out by doing that. And if you're like my brother, you can go down and grab a beer.
There you go.
Yeah, at the very least, you're grabbing a beer, and
we'll be pouring them for you guys all.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we'll see what happens with these striped bass coming up. I'm really concerned about it. I haven't been concerned for a while about what they're going to do with any species, but this one is concerning.
Yeah. Anytime I hear that no targeting, that's really what really gets me fired up more than anything. So
yeah,
we'll have to see what happens, but let's hope for the best. Oh, by the way, if anyone's listening to this, send your comments into ASMFC by October 3rd, because that's the cutoff day for public comment. And believe me, the word's gone viral all throughout like social media and like other outlets. So we're really flooding them right now with information and with our opinions. And my personal opinion right now, as it is I would like to probably at the most have status quo. And if it has to be a closure, then do it in the springtime when they're spawning in the big egg-laden females. But I really don't want any kind of closure whatsoever. But status quo is what I'm advocating for at the present moment. But whatever your position is up to you. But send in your comments by October 3rd to be heard.
Yes. Very good. Everyone, please do that. if you fish salt water, this is going to impact you. Even if you don't fish for striped bass, it's going to impact you because you can be sure it's going to be used as a model for the next species too. So, and I will just say this, with government and anything involved with government, once something is enacted, it's almost impossible to get it reversed.
Not getting it back. Yep.
No, the Philadelphia sales tax was a World War II tax. It was temporary and it is still there. And I think it's what, 7, maybe even more than 7%. And the one time that I can say that we got something back was when they extended fluke season. That's the only time that I remember that we ever got anything back as fishermen. And we had to do that ridiculous slot to get it.
Yeah.
So everyone keep that in mind.
Get active. Make your voice heard with this one. This is like a pivotal type of legislation that's going to be enacted. So make sure you're aware of it and make sure you make your voice heard. ASMFC website. Just go right to the striped bass addendum, click on the top page and say leave comment, and you'll be able to do it there.
Very good. I'll put a link in this a little bit later so that people have a link within the YouTube, and I will also put one in the podcast. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, which most of you do, that watch or listen, it's usually the podcast. I'll put a link in there as well so you can go through and give your opinions. I'm going to try to actually get this uploaded tomorrow if possible, just so that it's ahead of the 3rd by enough time for people to listen to it so that we can get something done. So thank you very much. Appreciate it, Nick, for coming on. Everyone, I want to let you know, we're hoping for Jim Hutchinson next week. It's a little fluid, so we'll see if that can. He's got travel and all this stuff going on. He's a busy guy, but we're going to see about that. And also, I want to announce we're going to do another Fat Dad fishing meetup this winter / late fall. Probably on the Osprey. We're going to pick a day and we're all going to get together and go for blackfish. So
good boat. Yeah. I just didn't realize there was a comment section here. So everyone who left a comment, thanks. And I'll get back to you whenever I can. But I appreciate any comments you guys had. I just noticed them right now.
No, it's all good. It's tough when you're talking and the chat's going by.
I didn't even know there was a comment section.
I was trying to monitor it. Half of the things are my brother making fun of me. So
we'll definitely have to. I'll buy him a beer.
Yeah. We'll skip over those. All right, Nick. Thanks a lot, everybody.
All right, Rich.
Until
Take
next
care,
week.
guys.
Yeah,
Thanks
everyone.
See ya.
Get out there, get on the water, get some tight lines.